Hey, this is the Entertainment Advice Channel. What I want to talk about today is top 5 movie tropes that need to stop, okay? So, for this video, I'm going to discuss tropes that are ruining movies because they're overused, for that matter, to be quite honest with you, because they're consistently being used all the time, to be quite honest with you, okay? Besides, the point of this channel is to give advice on how we can make better. And of course, since movies is a form of entertainment, as a result, I'm going to give advice on what we can do to make movies better. So, of course, we can have better quality movies again, especially in an age where people say movies suck nowadays. So, that's the point of this video. I'm just giving advice there, and hopefully, someone watches it so we can create change. So, now I mentioned that, let's get started. So, the first movie trope that needs to stop is the "it was all just a dream" movie trope. Now, this one, for that matter, is definitely one that needs to stop because the truth of the matter is, even though when we're watching a movie, we all know that obviously it's fiction, it's not real life, we still want to have some degree of a fantasy to it. And when you take away the ability to make the character think that it was at least real in terms of the movie, it kills the ability for people to enjoy the movie as much. The whole idea of it was just a dream, you know. So when it comes to obviously something like that, the idea that it was just a dream, whether it could be a dream that was created by a spell, or even maybe a dream created by some machine or something, whatever, you get the point. The idea that it was not real, even for the movie, um, for that matter, the fictional movie that we're watching, and at least in the world of the movie, it makes it depressing because the truth of the matter is when it does that, it kills the element of realness. In other words, what makes the movie feel interesting, like, oh my god, this actually happened. This person met this person. The violence you saw in the movie was real. This and that. It just kills the vibe because it just takes away the ability for people to really immerse themselves in a story. Because when people watch things like that, you know, like movies for that matter, they want to immerse themselves in the experience. They want to feel like they're in a fantasy world. But when you take that away by saying it was all just a dream, it kills the vibe and just makes the movie feel not really the greatest for that matter, okay? For, for crying out loud. And it doesn't help the fact, to add to that, that it also brings up questions about reality that are not really the greatest, specifically when we're having a mental health epidemic nowadays, that's definitely getting out of hand. You know, it's not the greatest to bring up questions like that, because when people watch movies, they want to enjoy it, not make them start wondering what is real and what's not real. As I said before, we have a mental health epidemic, and there's even a condition going around, especially in recent times, where people wonder if reality itself, our actual reality that we live in, is actually real or it's just a dream. So the truth of the matter is, to put it bluntly, yes, it's not really appropriate. And if it's done, it has to be done well. But either way, it's definitely something that's overused. So as a result of it being overused, it should be something that's not used, you know, as often as it's used. So that's the first one, when it comes to cliches that need to stop. Okay. The second one definitely needs to be discussed, is the revenge trope. Now, this one is definitely a very depressing one because the truth of the matter is, the problem with it is that it usually tends to be done poorly. This whole trope that, someone seeking vengeance for it, to be honest with you. And the reason why it's so bad is that it tends to be very predictable. You already know he's not going to kill the bad guy, even if the bad guy clearly deserved to be killed for that matter, to be honest with you. So as a result, it's boring, it's predictable, and just even just straight up depressing because it's just something that brings up a topic that's not very comfortable for people, because when people watch a movie, like I was kind of getting at before, they want to escape from reality, not have questions brought up to them that don't make people feel very comfortable for that matter, okay? Because when I watch a movie, I want to enjoy it. I want to immerse myself in experience, I don't want start questioning my beliefs on things. Because sometimes in life, you have to realize sometimes people really do bring shit on themselves, in all honesty, you know, for that matter, okay? That is very true. But at the same time, we also have to understand that a lot of people don't agree with that way of thinking. So not only is it a boring trope because it's predictable, it can obviously cause some discussions in real life that might not necessarily be the greatest out there for that matter. It might even cause arguments and stuff among friends, because it's definitely something that obviously brings out the worst in people. It's one of those things that people see it either one way or another way. So I definitely do not agree with that trope at all because when people watch a movie, they want to escape reality. So that's the second one I want to discuss. The third one is the anti hero trope. Now, this one is definitely one that needs to go. This is the one that definitely, especially when we look at the fact that this trope has also inspired mass shooters, sometimes, this one is definitely an overused one and just I think needs to go at this point. It's outdated, and not only is it outdated, it can lead people to seeing the world in a way that I do not with, and not just I don't necessarily agree with. I think it's really fucked up because the truth of the matter is the anti-hero trope, just pretty much encourages you, for that matter, to question humanity because a lot of the anti heroes pretty much come off this whole I hate humans, humans are evil sort of thing. But that's not necessarily true. There's a lot of good people out there. You just have to realize that fact. But a lot of people don't know that. And just to see a movie, that I'm trying to escape reality and just be bombarded with the anti hero trope, just like the whole Joker, oh, humans suck, humans are evil, this and that trope. It's just not really the greatest thing to look at for that matter. Okay, it's not really the greatest. And in the end of the day, humanity is too smart. We're never gonna go away completely. And I just feel like that mindset, the whole I hate humanity trope, it can lead you down paths, my friend, that you really, 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 really do not want to go down. So as a result of that particular topic, though, why do you even want to present that in movies? Especially when there's a lot of troubled, impressionable minds out. And if it's done, it has to be done well, but it's usually not done very well, and it's just, and once again, like I said before, overused. So it's definitely an overused trope. So it should definitely not be a trope that's used often. And actually, to be honest with you, I don't think it should be used at all. It's just negative, and it just encourages people to see the world in a certain way that's not very good, especially when you take in consideration the fact that a lot of people have been bullied and mistreated badly in life. Why do I want to encourage them to think and see humanity in a way that of course can make them go down paths you don't want to go down, and even have more people like I'm gonna be looking at like, oh shit, am I gonna have to fucking leave this situation? I think this guy's gonna shoot up the fucking place. So that's another trope that definitely needs to stop. Okay, so that's a definitely another one that's very depressing and shouldn't be joked around about. So now to the fourth trope, the pretentious trope. Now this one is definitely not as bad as the other ones, but it's definitely um something that needs to be discussed. It's at least kind of funny. It's at least kind of it's so bad it's good sometimes. The whole I'm trying to get an Oscar so badly trope. Like I'm trying to make a movie so deep by having as little violence as possible. A lot of you know, um character development to the point that it's unnecessary, and of course we can't forget the infamous character speaking in a very low voice sort of thing. That's another trope that definitely needs to stop because the truth of the matter is there are definitely better ways to balance action and story together, than just simply saying, okay, we're just going to have very little violence in a movie because we want to show that our movie's deep and so on and so forth. Because a lot of times you watch those movies, they're boring. Sometimes they're funny, but usually they're boring as fuck, and it's just like, I can tell you so badly want to get an Oscar for this movie. It's not even funny. You're just looking at it like, okay, I can really tell, that you're trying to get an Oscar by coming off as deep and meaningful. And even sometimes those people themselves who watch those movies and the Oscars, like, yeah, this is pretentious. This is not very well written. So that's another trope that needs to stop. Okay, the pretentious trope. And the last one is the violence is never answered trope. Now this one is definitely very controversial too, just like the revenge trope, you know, an anti-hero trope. This one is definitely something that needs to stop because the truth of the matter is when people watch movies they want to get away from reality, and sometimes in life you have to realize you have to seek justice, as if you don't seek justice someone might hurt and injure more people for that matter, okay? Let alone kill more people. So obviously the truth of the matter is, you know, the violence is never answered trope needs to stop because people want to watch movies, not argue with their friends about morals and ethics, okay? That's the truth of the matter about this one. Okay, and it's just a whole cliche pacifism trope, which is so stupid because you're watching a movie that's full of action anyway, which makes you wonder, like, why do I even want to watch a movie with violence anyway if I'm just going to be bombarded with stuff that's meant to make me feel guilty? So this trope is another trope that needs to stop. So anyway, that's my video. This is all I have to say, and I hope you enjoyed it.